On this video, I just want to have just a general conversation with you guys. And I want to talk about the top 15 questions that I normally get pretty much almost every single day. I get these questions, all right? So I just want to answer those questions in with real talk, right? So as you come in, guys, give me a thumbs up to let me know that you can hear me as you come in here to the live. And I just want to just free flow it. I got the questions in front of me, but I just want to kind of share with you guys some real practical answers to money questions. And so it's a beautiful day. It's what, February 2nd. It's beautiful out here. And after I finish with you guys, I'm going to bust open a few. Y'all know what these are, right? Girl Scout cookies, right? What do they call these? They call them trefoils, but I call them shortbread, right? So I'm gonna bust up a few. Yeah, I work out and walk every day and keep my body in shape, but I also like to indulge in a little Girl Scout cookies from time to time. They got the lemon stuff and the mint stuff. I don't like all that, but these shortbread, I'm gonna do those when I get done having this conversation. I'm gonna do some of them, right? I mean, yeah, these things. I don't know what they put in them things, but they must be addictive or something because I love them things. But anyway, so let me just jump into these 15 questions. I want to give you the answers, real talk. Okay, I just want to have a real conversation with you guys. And then if you get anything out of it, that's cool. Hit the thumbs up button for me. Share the video or whatever. Drop a comment if you want. That's cool too. I'll be looking at some of the comments. I see some of the thumbs up. Thank you from the UK, Romania. Woo, we got them all over the world. That's good. So let me just go through these 15 questions and give you how I normally answer them because I've had this channel for a long time on YouTube. Let's say a long time, about 3 years, right? Almost 3 or 4 years, actually, almost 4 years. But I've had the same answer, right? Because things don't really change because most of this channel and what I talk about in terms of money and how I operate in terms of personal finances is really about principles. And these principles really don't change a lot, right? There's some things going on in the world. Sometimes we'll talk about, you know, what Trump is doing in terms of our personal finances, what the stock market is doing in terms of our personal finances. But for the most part, these are basic principles to these questions that I get asked all the time. So appreciate the thumbs up, guys, as you come in. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up for me. I really appreciate it. So here's the first question I normally get. And I get this literally, I get this probably every day. Where should I invest my money? This is a basic question. I don't care if you've been doing this for 20, 30 years or you're new to investing money. People always ask, where should I invest my money? And so I like to tell people to be diversified with money, right? The stock market is always the low hanging fruit because they don't take, you can invest in the stock market with very little money, right? You're talking about buying fractional shares on a place like Fidelity or wherever, Robinhood. It don't take much. You can invest $10 a day in the stock market, $5, $8, $25 a day in the stock market or a week in the stock market. You could invest $10 a month in the stock market. So I always tell people that the stock market is low-hanging fruit nowadays. Now, if this was 100 years ago or 75 years ago, everybody didn't have that money to invest in the stock market. Today, they've kind of democratized the stock market, right? Meaning that anybody can get into it. So if you want to look for a place to invest your money and do your research, do your due diligence, all that good stuff, consider the stock market. And if it's okay, here's another one. Maybe it's just a 401k at your job. If you have a job that matches your 401k or offers a 401k, maybe just start there. You don't have to start with something big. You don't have to have a whole lot of money. And listen, I always tell people this. If you don't have a 401k at your job or your job doesn't match a 401k or you don't like where your job invests the money that you put into the 401k, that's an important thing too, then just open up a brokerage account at Schwab, at Vanguard, at Fidelity, wherever you feel comfortable with their platform. Open up a brokerage account and put in 3 to 5% of your gross income. If you make, if you bring home let's say you bring home $1,000 a week, then what is 3%? $30. Just take $30 off that thousand and put it in your own brokerage account. That's all you got to do. That's low-hanging fruit. You don't have to start with real estate and you don't have to start with flipping houses. You don't have to start with crypto. Just really simple into the stock market. And when you put the money in the stock market, you want to put the money in places where you're safe in the stock market, right? So you got to determine where it's going to go once you put it into Vanguard, right? So the thing is, don't start with something you don't know. Just start with easy things that you know about. The low-hanging fruit of the stock market is the best place to start if you want to start investing. You can get into commodities and corn and gold and all that stuff, Bitcoin and Ethereum. You can get into all that, right? But the stock market is just businesses. It's just businesses. It's just things that you know about. Look, if you love Fisher Price toys, then maybe you should invest in some Fisher Price. If you love, you a gamer and you love the NVIDIA gaming systems for the last 10, 15 years, maybe you know a little bit about the company and you understand the space, go ahead and put your money into a stock or ETF or an index fund if you're not that savvy. We'll talk about that later. The next thing, number two, the second question that people ask me nearly every single day when it comes to money is they ask me, should I invest my money right now or should I pay off debt? Now, here's my answer to that, because this is a very, very common question. Should I stop everything and pay off my debt, or should I keep investing and pay off debt? So I suggest you do both. Good afternoon to you too. I don't know how to hit my phone and bring up the comments. Maybe I'll check on this on my laptop here. But anyway, so somebody said, how do you pay, or do you pay off debt, or do you invest? Do both. Do both. Do both. But do both in this fashion. Pay off your debt full throttle, but still get the match at your job. Still invest 3 or 4 or 5% of your money towards investing. Here's why I say that. For some people, it's like, I'm trying to pay off debt, but it's going to be 5 or 10 years before I can get this thing paid off. It's going to be 5 or 6 years. I don't want you out of the stock market for 5 or 6 years while you're paying off debt. I want you in the stock market for those 5 or 6 years while you're paying off debt really strong and really hard, right? So some people say use the old Dave Ramsey method. Just go gazelle intense and get it. Stop investing. I don't believe in that. I believe that you still want to invest a little bit of your money while you're working really, really hard to get out of your debt. The reason, like I just said, it may take you 8 years to get out of debt because of life coming up, right? Washing machine breakdown, car need tires, kids going to prom, whatever it could be. It could be a lot of different things. But the point, hey, good afternoon to you, Blue. Let's see here. What's up, Deontay? Good to have you. Christoph in Germany, good to have you. So the deal is this. If you say, okay, I'm going to stop investing, I'm going to get out of debt. Like I say, and it takes you 6, 7, 8 years. You just lost 6, 7, 8 years in the stock market. And what do we know about the stock market? It's not time in the market, it's time in the market. That means you need to be investing in the stock market somehow, some way, those whole 7, 8 years you were trying to get out of debt, right? And somebody said, well, you just got to get out of debt faster, a year or two. That's cool, but it don't work like that for everybody in real life. In real life, stuff happens. Life be happening, right? So if life is happening, then you got to still find a way to putting a tiny percent. But here's the kicker. Don't be putting 25% of your money into the stock market and you sitting over here with a car debt. You owe $20,000 on a 2010 Hyundai, and you sitting up here with $25,000 in the stock market, or putting 20% of your money in the stock. Don't do that. Only put a tiny percentage while you're trying to get out of debt. Why? Because you're in the market, you're getting compound interest, you got time in the market, you're learning how to invest, you're learning how to put money towards the side for investing, you're learning about ETFs and index funds and stocks and bonds or wherever your money is in the stock market. You're learning that whole time. I don't want you to miss out on the learning, because a lot of the stock market is based on your feelings, and you got to learn how to feel when you're investing. And in that time that you're getting out of debt, but you're still putting a tiny percentage into the stock market, you're learning, right? Your emotions are you're getting habits that you're going to carry with you when you do get out of debt, when you can throw more money in the stock market. Hope that makes sense. Somebody said, I'm working on the emergency fund first, so shouldn't I do that and debt? Yes, listen, Emergency fund. I always tell people get a tiny little bit of emergency fund, about $3,000, $2,000 or $3,000, and that should hold you. $2,000 or $3,000. Listen, the whole time, from the time you're watching this video to the time you get out of debt and have a full emergency fund, you should be putting 3 to 5% of your money into the stock market, either through a 401k match, a match at your job, or your own brokerage account. Period. Don't ever quit that. And I say that because I'm speaking from experience. I didn't quit it. And the money that let me just say it like this. How could I say this? When in the year 2000, let me give you an example, real world example. In the year 2000, 2001, 2002, I carried over about 10 grand from a former job's 401k, former job's retirement system. I carried over 10,000. Today, that 10,000 that I carried over is worth about $250,000, $300,000. Just that 10,000 that I carried over. So you see how these little small amounts while you're trying to get out of debt matter 10, 20, 30 years down the road? They matter. And if you're out of the stock market for those 6, 7, 8 years, that's a problem. Okay, I spent a long time on that one. Let me go to number 3. The third one is, can you tell me about a good side hustle? Always get that question. Give me a good side hustle. Here's my answer. What is your gift? What is your assignment? What is your purpose on the planet? When you figure out those things, you'll know what you should be doing as a side hustle. Now, if you want to just make some money fast, look, there's a lot of things you can do to make money fast. I mean, you could, I don't know, walk dogs. You could help me guys. You could make an ebook, sell an ebook. You could blog. You could start a YouTube channel. You could do there's 1,000 side hustles you could do. But if you want a lasting side hustle, hey, Cayenne, good to have you here. If you want a lasting side hustle, find out what your purpose is. Find out what your gift is, right? Your gift is your best side hustle because you do it for free. You're just naturally good at it. You like doing it. You enjoy it. You have fun at it, right? If you can find that and then tap in a way to how to monetize that, this is the route. You find out what your purpose is somehow. There's ways to do that. Ask people around you, etc. I could go into a lot of different ways, but I won't for sake of time. So find out what your gift is, what your purpose is, why you're here on the planet to help other people. Listen, your passion, I don't care about passion. I'm not a passion person, right? Passion's cool, right? Passion is for you. Your gift is for others. So when you find out what your gift is, not just what you're passionate about, right? I'm passionate about playing basketball, but I'm not going to be in the NBA, right? I like it. I like it a lot, right? But your passion is what makes you feel good. Your gift is what's going to help the world, other people besides just you, and it's your natural gift. When you find out what that is, give it away for free for a little while. Give it away for free. Because you're giving it away for free to learn how to get good at it, how to be better at it, how to be the best at it, how to hone the skill, right? Because just because you have a talent don't mean you have a skill that you could go out and present to the world. You might be a great singer, but guess what? All great singers take voice lessons. They take voice lessons to learn some of the mechanics, right? Even though they're born naturally with the gift to sing, they still got to take some lessons. Born naturally with the gift to dance, still got to take some lessons. You may be born naturally with a gift or a talent or an assignment, but you still got to hone it. You got to get good at it. You got to get that talent to the point where other people are willing to pay you for it, right? Or that gift or that purpose, right? So give it away free for a while. Listen, I talk to people about their money and people call me about, and we have conversations. There's ways to get a hold of me in the description box below. But I didn't charge anything for that for the first 2.5 years. I did it for free. Free 15-minute phone calls about your money. Did it for free. And I talked to hundreds and hundreds of people. And guess what? I got better and I got better and I got better. I don't give it away for free anymore, but I did at one point. Find your gift and you will find your best side hustle. And then once you give it away, after you give it away, you find a way to monetize that, Now you monetize it, you market it, you advertise it. Now you got a side hustle that is in your gift, in your wheelhouse, you're good at. You can build a business around it, etc. Right? Let me give out a YouTuber. It's a young lady on here, and she doesn't know me. I really don't know her, but I've seen a lot of her videos. Let me help you guys out. If you watch YouTube videos, check out a young lady named Whitney Bonds, Bonds. Really like her channel because I think she had a blog or has a blog talking about helping single or no stay-at-home moms. Anybody, but her information is solid. She's a growing YouTube channel. She's not super huge, but I like her channel. Whitney Bonds, Bonds. Check out her videos. She always does lots of videos about side hustles. So does the lady that has a lot of, she has a lot of people on her channel. Something with the Hintons, Hintons. Guys, if you get a chance, check that out too. Number 4, I'm going slow. I got to pick it up. The fourth question I get asked all the time is, what is my favorite stocks and my favorite ETFs and index funds? People always want that information, right? And I try to help them with that information, but I tell them, look, don't take my word for it, right? Hey, you guys got to tell me when I'm looking rough up here. Got a little mirror to help me out. All right. So this answer to what is the best stocks and bonds and ETFs that are out there is really, I would say it's an individual thing, guys, because everybody has a different portfolio. As different as I am to Cayenne or Cayenne, my daily hero, or Brian, the difference the difference between me and each of those people is the same difference as our portfolios, right? For me personally, I like broad-based index funds, broad-based ETFs. I like technology stocks. I like value stocks. Okay, so my ETFs, let me give it to you straight. My ETFs are, I separate them into large cap, mid cap, small cap. Large companies, mid companies, small companies, right? And I also break them into sectors for my ETFs index funds, right? So my stocks are separated typically into growth stocks and value stocks. And well, when I say growth stocks, I mean stocks that are set to outperform the S&P 500, right? That are set to go up. When I say value stocks, I'm saying stocks that are steady, long-term stocks, pay a good dividend, companies that have been around for 30, 40, 50 years and are going to be around for 30, 40, 50 more years, right? That's what I mean by value stocks. So I look at all that. I look at all those different, I look at different sectors. When it comes to stocks, when I say different sectors, I'm looking at consumer staples. I'm looking at energy stocks. I'm looking at transportation stocks. I'm looking at tech stocks, financial stocks. I'm looking at these different sectors, right? Because I want exposure to a lot of different places. I don't want to have all my money in energy, ExxonMobil and Chevron only. I don't want to have all my money in just those stocks. I also look at stocks in terms of cyclical versus non-cyclical, right? Cyclical stocks, they kind of depends on how the economy's doing. They're doing well, they're doing bad. Non-cyclical stocks are stocks that it don't matter what's going on. Everybody's still going to be shopping at Costco. It don't matter what's going on. Everybody's still going to be having to get rid of they waste management, right? Don't matter what's going on in the world. So what I'm saying is, I look at all those different aspects of ETFs and stocks to make a decision on what I want to build my portfolio around, and I want exposure to all that, right? In different increments, right? So in terms of my ETFs, I want about 40% of my ETFs and index funds in broad-based S&P 500, right? Because I like broad-based, large growth ETFs. But I also want a small percentage, maybe 5 to 10% in the financial sector, ETFs. Maybe about 5 or 10% in REITs, right? Real estate ETFs, right? So you have to figure out your plan, your strategy for what you are comfortable with. Don't just buy stocks willy-nilly. I try to tell this to people all the time, guys. I really want you to get this point. Don't just have a strategy. I've done videos about what my strategy is in terms of investing in the stock market, right? But my strategy is my strategy. Your strategy is your strategy. So you ought to be able to make a YouTube video about explaining your strategy and why you believe what you believe, your values, your beliefs about business, your beliefs about stocks and ETFs and index funds. But we're all different. In stocks, I've got Coca-Cola, I've got Colgate Palmolive, I've got Costco, ExxonMobil, Chevron. These are all in my portfolio. In tech, I got Nvidia, I got Serve Robotics, I got Broadcom, I got Taiwan Semi, I got Palantir, I got some Visa, going to pick up some MasterCard, and I have some others, right? I've got a portfolio of about 20 to 25 individual stocks. I got a portfolio of about 5 or 6 ETFs, one index fund, broad-based. That's my portfolio. But my portfolio is my portfolio. Just like this is my box of Girl Scout cookies, your portfolio is your portfolio, right? Number 5, how can I pay off debt fast? This is a question I always get. I got to get out of this debt. First, get serious. 2, focus on it. 3, write down a debt snowball plan. Debt snowball plan is where you list your debt from largest to smallest. Forget about the interest rate, because you're trying to pay this thing off in 2 or 3 years. Who cares if you got to pay an extra $400 or $500 over that time in interest rates? We ain't worried about that. Debt snowball is smallest to largest. And then take whatever extra money you have from your budget every month and start putting that amount. First of all, take that amount. Let's say you have $1,000 left after you pay all your bills every month. Take that $1,000 on your budget and put it at near the top of your budget, so that you don't just pay your debt off with the money that's left over, whatever's left over. No, you pay your money off with an exact amount, this $1,000, and you put it at the top of your budget like a bill. So every single month you pay that bill called debt. You don't just take your budget and figure out, well, what's left over? Oh, $600 this 2 weeks. Oh, $500 this month. Okay, I'm gonna put that. No, don't do that. Put however much you think you have left over. You've done your budget. Put it at the top like a bill and use that money to go towards your debt. And you pay off the largest one first. Then you roll whatever you were paying monthly into that the smallest one. I'm sorry, smallest one first. Whatever you was paying monthly towards that smallest one, add it to your $1,000 to pay the next one. Now you're paying 1,000 something on the next debt. And you just keep rolling it up like a snowball. Google it, debt snowball. Plow money towards it. Have a plan, write it down, and get busy on it, right? You created the mess called debt. Now you got to pay off the mess called debt. It's going to take you a minute. Let me do this. My channel partner is Mint Mobile. They partner with me on all my videos for the most part. So if you're looking for premium wireless service, check out Mint Mobile. They don't have box stores. Mint Mobile solid, excellent customer service. There's a link in the description box below. Wanted to pause to say that before I forgot it. Let's go to number 6. Some people always ask me, how much income should I be saving each month? And how much should I be investing each month? There's no right or wrong answer to how much you should save each month. I don't work off percentages. You will never see me do a video that says, does the 20, 30, 50 rule, right? Where people push 20% towards that, 20. I don't do that, right? I just say, there's no right or wrong on how much you should save. When you have your debt paid off, go ahead and fill out your full emergency fund to 3 to 6 months of your savings and try to get that thing up as high as possible. The real answer to how much you should be saving and investing is as much as possible, right? As much as will cause you to have discipline while stretching yourself somehow. Don't make it real comfortable on yourself, because you make debt real comfortable, you're going to have it for for decades, right? Put enough in there in your savings, or be putting enough to stretch yourself and make you a little bit uncomfortable if necessary. Just like you put debt at the top, go ahead and put your savings at the top. Thanks for the shout out, Kayan, Ron. I appreciate you. Appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much for that. Let's see here. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. Somebody said pay off your debt. No doubt. Yeah. I appreciate that, Ron. Appreciate you. Somebody said, what are your thoughts on incorporating bonds in the market for someone reaching retirement? Absolutely. Bonds are okay, Blue. If you feel comfortable, listen, it's all about what you feel comfortable. I'm answering a question in the middle of answering questions. That's cool. So I'm not a person that says never invest in bonds. Now, I have only a very, very tiny percentage of my money in bonds. Just a very, maybe 8-9% of my money in bonds. And why is that? Because I want to be as risky as possible. I'm not at that point. I'm in the accumulation stage of my life. So in the accumulation stage, I want to go ahead and risk some stuff. Bonds or fixed assets are not very risky. You're going to get a guaranteed, 2% return, 1.5%, 3% return at the most for bonds. But I'm not a big have most of your portfolio in bonds. But here's the kicker. If you're near retirement, meaning you're 62 years old, 63, and you want to capture this money before the stock market does all this volatility that I think it may be coming here shortly for us, there's nothing wrong with moving a percentage of your money into bonds if you're comfortable with that. I wouldn't suggest putting all of your money in bonds, but if there's a percentage that you feel comfortable with, 10%, 20%, 40% of your portfolio in bonds, go for it. Nothing wrong with it. Everybody's not super risky. Some people are risk averse. They don't like a lot of risk, and that's okay. Again, this is an individual thing that's tailored for you and your comfort level and your risk tolerance, right? So great question. Appreciate that. All right, let's go to number 7. How do I set realistic goals with money? This is a question I get all the time, constantly. How do I set goals? Or people say, I got this goal, and it's not really a goal. Let me explain to you guys. You got to write goals down, okay? If you don't write it down, it's just a figment of your imagination, and it's a hope, right? And a dream. Otherwise, you got to write it down. When it comes to money, only have a few goals. Don't be a person that's got like 30 different goals. You don't need 30 goals. You got 30 goals, I guarantee you ain't going to hardly hit none of them, if any of them, because you got too much you going on. Only have a few goals, 2 or 3 money goals at a time. You could have 2 or 3 short-term goals and a couple of long-term goals with money. That's cool. But the kicker with goals is you write down a goal, and then under the goal, you write down your action steps, because a goal without action ain't nothing. You got to be able to do something, right? So after the action step, here's a good goal. By December 31st, 2026, I want to have a fully funded emergency fund with $30,000 in it. You got time, the end of 2026, and you have a dollar amount, a specific dollar amount, $30,000. That's a good goal. But watch this. A bad goal, coming up soon, sometime in the next year, I want to be able to have more money than I have. I want to feel financially free coming up in the next 2 years or so. That's a bad goal because it's vague. See, a goal has to be measurable, has to have some quantifiable and some time associated with it. Otherwise, who knows if you reach it, right? So a few goals that are measurable, have time and money associated with it, and you have action steps underneath them. Each goal has its own set of action steps that you do every single day to reach the goal. Boom. That's how you set a financial goal. And then you go check it. You go peep it out. Okay. Every month or so, every 4 weeks or so, or every week, or every 6 months. Hey, did I reach that? Boom. Did I do that? Boom. Okay, good. Yeah. So you're checking yourself. You're holding yourself accountable, right? Because everybody don't have somebody to hold themselves accountable. You got to hold you accountable, and a goals are what good way to do it, right? Number 8. Some people ask this: should I consolidate my debt for low interest rates? My answer is no. There's you just moving money from here to over here. Yeah, you get a slightly lower interest rate, but if you're paying off debt in a year or 2 or 3, who's tripping off the fact that, okay, sometimes it costs you more to consolidate it. You go through a consolidation company, it costs you more to consolidate it than you would have saved with the interest. So don't trip on that, right? Stop. You ain't got to move money around, okay? Just pay off the debt if it's debt. I would not consolidate debt, but I get that question a lot. Number 9 is this: okay, let me go back. Number 8. If you feel like it's going to take you 15 or 20 years to pay off debt, then okay, you might want to consolidate. But don't let debt take 15 years to pay off. Pay it off sooner, 2, 3, 4 years or less, and then the extra savings on interest don't matter. because you paid it off quicker. All right, number 9 is this. Do you invest in crypto or Bitcoin? People ask me this every single day. Do I invest in crypto? Do I invest in Bitcoin? The answer is not a whole lot. Not a whole lot. I am not a big crypto. I am not a big crypto person, right? Now I'm a big Girl Scout cookies, right? This is the shortbread. Iconic shortbread cookies inspired by the original Girl Scout recipe. I keep going back to those because they calling my name. They sitting right here calling my name. Maybe I should put them somewhere else. All right, listen. I'm not a crypto guy. Somebody said, what are your thoughts on incorporating bond? Okay, I did that one already. Okay, so, and I'm going to try to get to some more of these questions. I see a bunch of them popping up. Somebody talked about how bad are these tariffs going to be. We'll talk about it in a second. So crypto, I don't invest in crypto because I'm not really sure about crypto, to be honest with you. I think it's probably a solid, it may be solid, but I just don't feel comfortable enough to be investing in it or putting large chunks of money. I have under $1,000 in crypto. I think it's Ethereum or Litecoin or something, but I don't have much money in it. That's why this is not a crypto channel. This is not an investing crypto channel. It's not my space. It's not what I'm comfortable with. Everything I talk about on this channel is things that I'm comfortable with, that I've done or have experienced, right? I don't want to get into speculating about something I don't know a whole lot about. So I want to be authentic and genuine in what I talk about. And I'm not a crypto guy. I don't invest in a lot of crypto. If you want to have crypto as a part of your portfolio, that's cool. Nothing wrong with that at all. I'm not against crypto at all. But I'm saying that a tiny percentage, maybe under 10% of your overall portfolio is what I would be comfortable telling somebody to think about doing. But otherwise, I've got a 0.00001% of my portfolio. Anything, this is one thing that bothers me about crypto. Anything I have to have a special key for, or I don't feel safe with it, it's not secure, somebody come through and take it and go, Coinbase go down today, for big news come out, you might, who knows if you lose it. I don't have money to play with like that, right? So I don't feel real comfortable with it. Your crypto is only as safe and secure as the place on the internet where you keep it. I'm not going there, right? I'll let you, if you go there, it's cool. It's up to you, right? Number 10. Oh, somebody asked about tariffs real quick. Number 10 is this. Or let's not go to number 10. Let's go to tariffs. These tariffs, I think I'm going to do another video about these tariffs because they just got real, right? 25% on Canada, 25% on Mexico, 10% on China. And now Mexico and Canada is talking about retaliation with their tariffs, right? Okay, you're going to put tariffs on us. So it's causing some rift, right? And that rift could end up being a bigger rift, which we don't want it to be. But the prices of goods are going to go up. But there's a possibility, let me put it out there like this. There's a possibility that the prices go up a little bit now, but maybe there could be some light at the end of the tunnel. Maybe 5 years down the road, it was a good thing because it did something positive. 10 years down the road, I don't know. But in the short term, you can guarantee that prices will go up as we place those taxes on those imports, especially from Canada and Mexico. I mean, I would say that maybe 40–50% of everything we get in America comes from those two places, maybe a little less, but I think 40 or 50% comes from overseas. Maybe it's 30% from China. I don't know what the numbers are. Don't let me get to saying it, but expect your prices to go up shortly, right? So, and I think that's going to cause an issue in the stock market, which we know the stock market's overvalued. We did a video about that last week. All right, so next question, number 10. Should I put my emergency savings in a high yield savings account? Some people ask this all the time. Listen, that's up to you. I don't care where you put your emergency savings. Why don't I care? Because that's not where you want to invest and grow your money, in your savings. Your savings is for emergencies. Your savings is for when something goes wrong, right? You got, you bust your toe, your insurance don't cover it. Now you got to pay $1,000 out of pocket for a medical emergency. Boom. All right, cool. Right? Tires go out. I always say this because it happens. You got 2 tires go out at the same time for some reason, and you drive a big old SUV and tires cost $400 a piece. Right? Now you got the money to do it. You got the $800. It don't break you because you got $3,000 in a savings account that's there for you. I don't care if that's $3,000 is going to get you an extra, $75 a year, $150 a year. I'm not tripping on that. And when you get your big emergency fund, then okay, if you have $30,000 for your big emergency fund and you want to put it in a high yield savings account, that's cool, right? Nothing wrong with that, because then you get you an extra, whatever it could be. But keep in mind that as the Fed lowers the interest rates, the Fed funds rate, as the Fed lowers the Fed funds rate, your variable rate on your high yield savings account will go down as well, right? When Fed funds rate was 5.25 several months ago, high yield savings accounts were busting out at 3.5, 4.5, 5% interest. Woo! But as the Fed funds goes down, Fed funds rate goes down, that interest rate that you see Jerome Powell get on TV and talk about every other month, as that goes down, I think it's steady at 4.25 right now. But when that goes down, your variable rate on your high yield savings account will go down also. Keep that in mind. I don't really care where you keep your emergency fund. If you want to do a high yield savings account and get that extra $300-400 a year, that's cool. But that ain't where the real action happens. The real actions happen when you actually invest your money, right? So it's totally up to you. Cool, right? Number 11, how do I build up my credit? People always want to know about their credit, right? Credit is cool, right? You got to ask yourself, why are you building up your credit? Right? Building your credit takes time. Start by paying your bills on time every time. If you got a credit card, start making sure you pay that stuff on time. But listen, on this channel, I don't talk a whole lot about credit. That's not really my thing. I'm not into credit repair, and there's other channels that talk a lot about that type of stuff. I'm into correct behaviors with money. If you and integrity with money, right? So if you pay your bills when you're supposed to pay your bills, and you don't overspend, and you don't get crazy with it, and you just pay your bills on time, that's what I'm all about. Making sure you just handle and manage money with integrity, with good character. And if you manage money with character and good character, good integrity, your credit's going to be fine, right? Also, don't be out repairing your credit but not repairing your behavior, right? A lot of people, what they do is, yeah, I got to get my credit right. Can you help me get my credit right? What do I got to do to get my score here? Can I call them, remove this, remove that? But then they still doing the same stuff they got in trouble with before. So it doesn't matter if you repair your credit, but if you don't repair your behaviors and your actions with money. So that's what I'm more into, just good character with money, paying your bills on time, not necessarily because you want to keep your credit right, but because you want to just do the right things, right? So I don't have a lot of credit tips on this channel, or how do you repair your credit? There's a lot of channels that get into that, and that's not really my wheelhouse, all right? 12, people always ask me, am I too old to win with money? The answer is, of course not. If you're breathing and blinking, you're not too old. As long as you got hope, you're not too old, right? There's a chance. I don't care. I've had consultations with people who are in their 70s trying to get better with their money. Listen, if you're 70 years old watching this video, there's a chance that you may live to be 90. That's 20 years. That's a lot of time. 20 years is a lot of time. And you could start at the age of 70, 75. Let's say you start at 75 and you got 15 years. You know how much what you can build up in 15 years, and maybe not to use all for yourself, but maybe you've got some great grandkids or grandkids that would appreciate it, and you could leave a legacy. The point is, you always have time. You're never too late. The channel that you're watching right here, I started this channel at the age of 51. Was I 51? 51 when I started this YouTube channel. Right? There's YouTube channels of people older than this. My point is that it's never too late to build, to create, to produce, right? To get better, to learn, right? Number 13, people always ask me every single day, real estate or stocks? I've owned real estate for almost 25 years now. I've owned rental property. My answer to that question, real estate or stocks, is they serve two different purposes. And my answer is both. Okay? My answer is both. Don't just be stocks, don't just be real estate. Why not do it all? Right? Think back to 2022. right? Remember 2022? Stock market was down 18, 19% S&P. Real estate was up. So in 2022, I lost $100,000 in the stock market. But my real estate went up, picked me up another 50, 60, $70,000 in real estate in terms of net worth, right? Net, right? So right now I'm about 65% paper assets and I'm about 35% real estate in terms of net worth. But that may flip flop at some point because I may go out and buy an apartment complex. I may go out and buy a building. I may go out and buy a few pieces of property. Who knows, right? In the next couple of years, I'll let you know. I'll take you on that journey on this channel if you want to go on that journey with me, right? But I'm into both. I say have various assets, right? So don't get to the point where you got to have stocks or you got to have one or the other. Try to build your portfolio so that you have both of them. Number 14, would you buy a house right now with high interest rates? In the big scheme, this is a question that I'll always get asked almost every day. Would you buy a house right now with the interest rates being what they are? Yeah, I would, depending on what your purpose is, right? Even if it was a piece of rental property, but let's say a primary residence, I would buy a primary residence right now with the interest rates what they are. Absolutely. In the big scheme of things, this is probably more normal for interest rates. We got really spoiled from 2012 to 2021 when interest rates was like super duper all-time lows. This is more normal. My thing is this: if it's a long-term purchase like a house that you want to live in, go ahead and buy your house when you're ready. Don't try to time the real estate market and play that game. If you want to, I'm not mad at you, but I would buy now and refinance later when rates go down, if it's a long-term purchase, right? I just say buy a primary residence when you're ready, right? Don't worry so much about, live your life with your money on your terms. Don't live your life with your money and your property on the terms of the market. Okay? My suggestion. If you're a new family looking to make a purchase for a home or primary residence, buy when you're ready. When you got all your ducks lined up. Because listen, you get all your ducks lined up, it may not be at the right time in the real estate market to have all its stuff. Don't live life based on the real estate market. Right? That stuff is out of your control. What's in your control? Getting your ducks in a row, having your down payment, doing your due diligence, etc. So you control what you can control in the real estate market, right? Number 15. How can I save? This is a question I always get. How can I save and invest more with prices going up? Let me piggyback on what I just said. Plan and focus on the things that you control, not the things you can't. You don't control inflation. You don't control whether or not Donald Trump is going to sign these orders. I think he already signed them to do tariffs, to raise the tariffs on all these countries, right? You can't control that, right? So inflation is going to happen. Inflation is normal. All inflation means is the prices go up. That's normal. If they go up faster and we have high inflation, you can't control it. Right? You just got to do your budget, track and be intentional with your expenses, and don't trip on the things that you have no control over. Live below your means and make adjustments accordingly in your own life to what may be happening outside your life that you don't control, right? Prices are always going to go up. You ain't affecting that, never. Let me see what we got. I went through 15 questions I normally get asked every single day, guys. But let me see if I got something in the chat. I think I just learned how to do the chat on the phone, guys, while I'm talking. Let's see here if I got a question. I think I did. Somebody said, I'm new to investing. The question, if I start investing in fractions, dollar cost average in the Max 7 lineup, is that better than grabbing a VOO? No. I am not a person that says invest in the Max 7. The problem with investing in just the tops, what is the Max 7? The Max 7 is the top 7 companies in the American Stock Exchange, right? Amazon, Google, Apple, Nvidia. What's another one? Help me. But anyway, Tesla, right? That's the Max 7. I don't like only investing in the Max 7 because you don't know when to get out of the Max 7. The Max 7 today is not the same Max 7 as 10 years ago, 15 years ago. I think there's one. Microsoft might have still been in it 15 years ago. But the Max 7 changes over the course of a long period of time. So you got to know as a single stock investor, when do I get out? And you may not be that good to know that. So I would rather invest in the top 500 companies as opposed to just the top 7. Remember, when you invest in the top 7, your risk is higher than when you invest in the top 500. So I would prefer to invest in the top 500 and spread my risk around. Instead of Nvidia being 50% or being 30% of my portfolio, I'd rather Nvidia be 8% of my portfolio. That's why I would rather go with the S&P 500 than only investing in the Max 7. And as I said before, with the Max 7, you have to know when to pull out. When you see one of those companies start, when you saw Tesla start tanking, did you know to get out of that? No. At some point, Apple is going to start tanking. It could be 10 years, could be 20 years, whatever. But do you know when to pull out? No, you don't. So check it out. When you have the S&P 500 in an index fund or ETF, you don't do the guessing, right? The system already pulls them out of the S&P 500 and replaces them with somebody else. So you don't have to make that call when you invest in the S&P 500. So it's more passive investing as opposed to you saying, I'm going to buy the top 7 stocks. That's more hands-on, right? And most people don't have the knowledge to know when to pull out of those Max 7s, right? So that's why I would say no, just go ahead and invest in the top 500 companies versus the Max 7. Let me see if I did this right. I don't know how to get to the chat. Somebody put something in the chat. There it is. Okay. Somebody said, don't get conservative until you get closer to retirement with dealing with stock market. That's a good point. That's a good rule of thumb. Let's see here. Question. I got $5,800 loan. $5,800 loan. Should I go into my savings TSP to pay it off? No. No. Double no. Let me say it again. No, in case you didn't get me. Do not go into your retirement savings to pay off $5,800. Just pay off $5,800, right? Don't touch your, do yourself a favor and never touch your retirement, okay? Do yourself a favor and never touch your retirement. And I'm trying to get caught up, guys. Yeah, somebody said, you are the youngest you ever be right now. No doubt, absolutely. My son just closed on his house 2 months ago. Great interest rate in Michigan. Fantastic. Congratulations. So Jason said, hey, man, been watching you for some time. Love your videos. Thanks, Jason. Appreciate you. Appreciate you for being a solid investor. Somebody said, ETFs or individual stocks? ETFs all day. ETFs all day. That's my opinion, especially if you're new, right? If you're not a professional investor, ETFs all day. If you love this stuff and you've been learning, you jump into it both feet, investing in the stock market, you got your 2 monitors up because you're tracking your candlesticks and all, cool. Cool. Maybe you want to take some risk in individual stocks. For most people, ETFs over individual stocks, it's much easier. It's much easier. You ain't even got to touch in ETFs. You just do them and go, right? Somebody said, trust in God and do yourself. No, do yourself, do your best. Absolutely. Somebody said, just had to take care of my intake manifold. Okay. But since I had my emergency fund, it wasn't a big deal. Still doesn't want to give it up. Okay. Cool. Intake manifold, talking about cars there. Can I use VOO as a savings? I mean, essentially you could, but why not have a separate savings and let your VOO grow? I lost 10 million overnight buying algo, whatever that is. I don't know, but I'm sorry to hear that. Let's see. Is it a good strategy to impose tariffs on 3 countries at the same time? Yeah, we will see what happens. What are your thoughts on interest rate cuts? When and how much this? I'm okay with interest rate cuts, guys. I don't have a big problem with that. You talking about the Fed? Re-ask that question because I'm not really sure what your question is. Somebody said a house is not an asset. I disagree. I don't believe that theory that your house is not an asset. I believe your house is an asset. I really do. So I don't need a house. I can sell this house and make a whole bunch of money for it. Not a big deal. I'm not tied to a piece of property. Let's see here. Let's see. It takes about 15 years to go down. I'm just gonna pay the house. ETFs, if you're new, I should read these out loud instead of like half. Don't you hate when people do that, right? They don't say the whole thing out loud. They do, right? Somebody said I like Nvidia and Apple, good stocks, solid stocks, nothing wrong with those. I'm not an Apple guy. Amazon, Apple, Google, Microsoft, Tesla, Meta, Nvidia is a Mag 7. Thank you for putting that in there. Let's see here. ETFs or index funds. I really only own one index fund, right? The rest are ETFs. The index fund I own is Vanguard's version of the S&P 500. Let's see here. But with the Mag 7, you might hit a home run. You might hit a home run with the Mag 7, no doubt, but you also have a solid chance of striking out, right? And I don't mean striking out, but everybody has their preference. I'm not mad at you, Gabe. If you want to do the top Mag 7, it's all good, right? No, I'm in KC, not NC. Let's see, it's like baseball. Would you rather have a career in AAA or have a chance at the majors? ETF investing versus Mag 7. Makes sense. I have extra money. I want to invest. I'm new to it. Where do I start? If you have extra money, you got all your debt paid off. You got all your emergency money all put to the side. And you got extra money you want to invest. I would start by going to my playlist that says Invest and Grow Money on this channel and start looking at some of those videos. It talks to a lot of newer investors about what to do, right? Where to start. I would start with education. Okay, I would start learning. There's good books out there, Stock Market 101, anything by John Bogle, Bogle. The Simple Path to Investing by J.L. Collins. There's a lot of good, solid beginner books. Maybe Investing for Dummies, that whole series. But start reading and educating yourself about the stock market investing, right? And I prefer, because I'm a little bit older, I prefer the Warren Buffett approach, which is the slow, steady value investing approach, as opposed to the more aggressive approaches that you see out here, right? So learn, learn, learn. Start understanding terms, watching videos about the stock market, and get as much information as you can and immerse yourself in education about the stock market and how stocks work and about business. Because if you can understand and learn business, that's a good segue into understanding and learning about stocks and ETFs and index funds and companies, right? How do you run business? What is free cash flow? What is a profit loss statement? What's a balance sheet going to show and mean when you look at a balance sheet, right? What how do you read a stock, right? What's the difference between common stock, preferred stock, right? What are the different, what is an initial preferred IPO versus, understanding the New York Stock Exchange versus the NASDAQ versus the, what is the difference between ETFs and single stocks? All those things are educational things that you ought to learn and know. And then once you get the education, begin to formulate your own strategy. How do I want to approach it? Please do not just jump into a stock because you saw somebody talking about a stock. It's the wrong way to invest, right? But a lot of people do it. I hope that helped you out. Let's see here. Somebody said, I'm trying to get to a few questions. Let's see here. ETFs all day, no doubt. Would it be wise to approach dollar cost averaging into the S&P? Yes, it's wise to do that. Let's see. Even when you're experienced, you will still make mistakes. Absolutely. I wish I would have had gotten out of WBA sooner. Not sure what that is, but yeah, UK is in the house. I think that's the flag. Let's see. Thank you. All the cars paid off debt. Saving is good for at least 5 years. Excellent. Fantastic. So you're ready to invest. Hey, Ms. AKA 1908. I appreciate that. Those wonderful words that you're amazing. If no one told you today, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Back at you. You're amazing too for saying that. Let's see here. Okay, Walgreens boots. So listen, I wanted to just give you on this video, guys, and it's been longer than I thought, but sometimes I just like hanging out. But look, these things are still calling me. Do me a favor, in the description box. There's some things in the description box. There's a free 24 laws of money. Talks a little bit about my story, but it also gives you principles that I follow, right? Check that out in the description box. Don't forget to check out also Mint Mobile in the description box. Let's see, somebody said house will be paid off in 2 years. I'm 61. Surrender my 403b now just to do home upgrades. I'm still trying to read that. I still have a traditional Roth that I won't touch. Great. Fantastic. Spread your money out in the market? No doubt. What about buying it? Let's see. Good afternoon. Great content. Thank you, Paul. What are your thoughts on continuing to invest in taxable brokerage account and investing in the same ETF? If I'm reading that question right, you're saying continuing to invest in a taxable brokerage account and investing in the same ETF. That's cool. If you want to double down like that, I think I understand that question. If you want to double up like that, that's cool. If I'm answering that right, make sure I'm saying that right. I'm going back to look at it. Okay, I don't see a big problem with it, but I like to spread it around. I keep usually about me personally about 5 or 6 ETFs, one index fund, and about 20 to 25 stocks is what I have in my personal portfolio. Good long-term investment for young kids other than 529. There's a lot of ways to structure things for kids, right? You got your 529s, you have your UTMAs and your UGMAs, which I'm not going to dig too deep in, right? But you have just a matter of creating an account. You go to your Vanguard account, you set up an account in your name, and then in your estate plan, you make sure that that estate plan has that account number, and that estate plan says this is for little Johnny when little Johnny turns 30 years old. You can do that in an estate plan. You can have a regular brokerage account set up in your name, but you can say in your estate plan, when I die, the money in this account at Charles Schwab goes to little Johnny when he's 30 years old. There's a lot of flexibility. That's why I always tell people, if you have any substantial amount of money, I mean $50,000, $100,000 or more, do an estate plan, because an estate plan will give you the ability to direct any extra money how you want to direct it. So you don't necessarily have to have a 529 or UTMA or UGMA. That's UTMA or UGMA. You don't have to have those if you want to just direct where that money's to go in your estate plan. I'm not an estate planner, but I understand kind of how that works, and there's a lot of ways to do that in an estate plan as well. Trying to see if there's any more questions that I have here, guys. I'm not able to get to them. The dot is supposed to appear on the screen. There it is right there. Hey, thanks for the super chat. I appreciate that. Maz Davaro, I appreciate that. What do you think will happen with the US dollar after BRICS counters? It'll be interesting. I don't know. It'll be very, very interesting what happens with BRICS. Let's see here. Should you replace your savings account with a brokerage account? You could. There's a lot of ways in a brokerage account that if you open a brokerage account with Vanguard has a settlement account where your money that you put in Vanguard sits until you direct it to an investment. Some people use that settlement account. It's not called settlement account on Fidelity or on Schwab, but it's the same concept. Some people use that as a place to store money, and that's cool too, right? Let's see. Somebody says, who are my mentors when it comes to investing? I like super investors, right? So I like the guys, the Bill Ackmans, and I like I can't think of the guy from India, the Warren Buffett's. Like, I like the super investors. I always watch and see what the super investors do, because I look at the super investors 13F, file 13F. Everybody who's managing more than $100 million in America has to file every quarter with the SEC what they call a Form 13F. And the Form 13F shows the SEC what Warren Buffett has sold in the last few months, in the last quarter, right? Because it's always a quarter behind. These are quarterly filings called 13F. Google it, check it out. So I go to a website like Dataroma, DATAROMA.com, and I see what the super investors are investing in, right? That's a big piece of who I follow. So I don't have a specific mentor, but I like to check him out. I like to check those out. Let's see. Somebody said, what's the difference between that settlement account and an HYSA? The settlement account is usually with your brokerage. The HYSA is usually with your bank, right? Oftentimes, that settlement account is a money market account that's it gives you 2, 3, 4%, and it's variable interest rates. So it's sort of similar, but the other difference is with a settlement account at Vanguard, the money is sitting there, and you can always invest it at the drop of a dime. Or you can always tie your HYSA into your brokerage account. There's a lot of ways to skin the cat. Is skin the cat still an appropriate thing to say, right, with PETA out there? Let's see here. Somebody said, I love learning about money. I'm so far ahead of my family. All they watch is TV and Netflix. Jason, If you was here, Jason, I'd let you get one of these right here. I'd let you take one of these right here. I give you two of these for that comment, Jason. Two of these, right? Two of these. Excellent. Congratulations, Jason. Appreciate you, man. Right? But nobody else gets these, right? My Girl Scout cookies, right? I'm crazy, right? All right. So look, guys, I appreciate you being here. It's been an hour longer than I wanted, but I enjoy hanging out with you guys. It's a beautiful day out here. I got to take this sweatshirt off. It's getting warm. This is a perfect February 2nd. Shout out to everybody who's got a birthday today. I think so. I think I saw somebody that said they had a birthday in today. Um, appreciate you very much, Canny. The Walla Mala in the house. Appreciate you. AJ, appreciate you. Kyle, appreciate you. Seminole, C-Cab. Listen, if you got value from this, guys, smash the like button for me. Check out some of the free stuff I have in the description box below. Please continue to support the videos. I just put out a video today. Poor to rich, right? Any poor person, the strategy any poor person can use to build some wealth. So check that video out today. And as always, guys, listen, this channel wouldn't be what it is without you. As I always say, the best person who's going to take care of the old you is not the nursing home. It's not your local mayor. It's not your governor of your state. It don't matter who the president is. The best person who's going to take care of the old you is you, the young you, the you are today, right now. That's the best person who's going to look after the 70-year-old you that needs to pay rent. Oh, you listen, you in 25 years, when you get 75, you're going to want to go get a sandwich. The best person to pay for that sandwich is the young you. Guys, take good care of yourself and take care of other people. Until the next video, peace.